I've not had any water today, so I've got green tea in here. All of that's water. So that should count as my first 1 litre. I try and drink 2 in a day. I don't usually, but I drink more. I drink close to 2. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Molly and I do book content here on YouTube. I apologise about this bit of hair. I don't know what's going on with it, but there we go. Today is, well, it's not actually scary, but it's kind of scary because I'm here to do my May TBR. Why? I mean, I know I am slightly early, okay? I know we do, well, when you're seeing this, we'll have about half of a week-ish left of April, because I think we're in May and like Wednesday, Thursday or something. But for me, it's still like at least a week until May, but it's still terrifying. The only reason I'm thinking about it is obviously because of YouTube and uploading. I wouldn't be thinking about it until like at least Monday next week if it wasn't for doing this. But it's still terrifying because I don't know where the month's gone. I don't know where the year's gone. Anyway, it will be something I think about if I don't talk about it every single month, but there we go. I apologise for being a one-track record, but to be fair, we're all thinking it, aren't we? Let's be honest, okay? We're all like, how is it going to be May next month? I don't know, is my answer to that one. So, let's get straight into it. So, it's mostly reading challenges for the year, and one readathon, which is a 2-month readathon. So yeah, let's get into it. So my TBR, if you've seen my thumbnail, is very small because as I was saying for April, I was a little bit slumpy end of March and into April, to be honest. So I was kind of taking a bit of a break from reading. Because of that, I didn't want to overface myself with a lot of books or big books or both. So, my TBR was quite small for this month. It is 4 books, and typically 4 books is usually about right. It usually constitutes to about 1 book a week. And that is like the minimum I can usually get to, unless, like I said last month, this month, April. It's usually at least 4, but it does depend. So I'm just going to get into it, and let's see how we get on. So for Santel's Read a Bookshelf Challenge, we have, for May, the prompt is include your place. And now this is, I rewatched her video, okay, when she announced the prompts and stuff. And from what it looked like is that it needs to have a place in the title. It doesn't actually say that, because obviously every book will include a place because it takes place somewhere. So I'm sticking with the title thing, but I'm not sure. But I actually, because of that, I do have a couple of options. Well, I say a couple, 3 out of my 4 technically have places. One of them is a bit of a stretch, but I would say it counts. So I'm glad by that. I mean to have lots of options. So, one of the first options is The House at the Edge of Magic by Amy Sparks. This is, I don't know if it's a duology or if it's a longer series, but I saw this, well, you'll have seen me haul this ages ago, sometime last year, and I got the second book as well. Well, I assume it's the second book. Both would count for this prompt because they both have the word either house or, in the second one, tower. And I would count those as places. So I'm counting this for that, or at least as an option. Both of these are middle grade. I don't really know much about it, but it's very short. The writing is very big with big margins, so I'm hoping to get to this. Obviously, I buy books because I want to read them, but I've been wanting to read this for a while, so I thought it's a good one that hopefully won't be too much for my slumpy brain. I think I've been getting out of it this month, but it's too early to tell, and I don't want to, well, As a Christian, I probably shouldn't say jinx it, because that's kind of not really something we should be saying, I don't think. I mean, I'm not completely convicted about it, but at the same time, I don't feel comfortable, you know? Which, to be fair, is probably conviction. Anyway, aside from that, I just don't want to, you know, go, oh yay, I'm out of a slump, and then put myself in a slump again by reading, I don't know, books that maybe I should probably leave till I know I'm out of one, or they're too big, or whatever it could be. So yeah, this is one of the options. I know some people do like the blurbs, or they talk about what's about it, but if I do that, my videos will be even longer than they already are, which is why I never really do that much, especially with my wrap-ups. But this is about an orphan who, well, they don't use the word steal, but that's what she's done. She plucks a beautiful ornament from someone's purse, and thinking her life is about to change, probably in terms of, you know, selling it off and getting money, but instead the treasure grows into a magical house. And apparently there's a curse that Nine, who is the name of the orphan, needs to break, apparently. So yeah, it sounds interesting. The next option is the one that's a bit of a stretch. So I have here Head in the Clouds by Karen Wittemeyer. This was actually gifted to me by Lucy, the lovely Lucy Chronicles. Love her. Go give her a follow, although I'm sure most of you know who she is, if you're not already following her at least. But this I also picked for that because of clouds. I'm going to count them as a place, especially because of the title, Head in the Clouds. So I'm counting it as a stretch for a place, because it is a place your mind goes, because it's kind of about, you know, well, your head's in the clouds. I can't think of the other way to say it. Yeah. So even though it's a bit of a stretch, I am counting it. I also want it also hopefully it should fulfill other prompts, which I'll get to when I get to those prompts. But the other option for place is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. Long awaited. I've been wanting to read this all year so far. And specifically because of Cheryl's Jurassic Reading Challenge. Yeah, I mean, you've got to, haven't you? I mean, you don't have to, okay? You don't. But my brain goes, well, it's about Jurassic Park, so you've got to read it, is my thought. So, yeah, I'm hopefully going to read this month. And obviously Jurassic Park, even though it's fictional, is a place. And the place is in the title, and also you have a picture of the island Jurassic Park is in, I am assuming, on the cover. So I'm going to count it. So there. Okay, I'm not actually annoyed. Anyway, the next one is Caterie's Christian Fiction Challenge from Book Nerd Caterie. And again, there's technically only one option I can do, and that is Head in the Clouds by Karen Wittemeyer, because this is a Christian book and Christian author. It's historical, it's a romance, but it looks like there's a little bit of a, not a mystery, but there seems to be like there might be some sort of stakes at play, because the main girl, called Adelaide, she basically goes to be a governess on a ranch in Texas for this man called Gideon, who obviously we all know, it's a romance, he's the love interest. And he has I assume she's his daughter, called Isabella, who is about 5, I think. And basically Isabella's uncle, which I assume is the wife's brother, comes to collect her because mum dies. She passes away, the little girl's mum, and at some point that woman's uncle comes to basically claim Isabella, who is the little girl, and also wants to claim her inheritance. So, and they're basically talking about, you know, how Gideon and Adelaide need to work together to stop the man's evil schemes. So there seems to be something going on. It's not just strictly a romance, which I kind of like, because I can, depending on what goes on, if there's nothing else really going on, it can be a bit slow for me. But I've never read of hers, 2 other Karen Rittermeyers, and I've really enjoyed them. So I'm going to enjoy this. It's also Grumpy Sunshine, apparently. Lucy said he is Grumpy, the love interest, the male love interest. She said he's not like massively grumpy, but she did still use the word grumpy, so it still counts as Grumpy Sunshine. So, and that's a prompt that will be coming up later on, Grumpy Sunshine. So, now I can't remember what prompt I've already used for Katie's Christian Fiction Challenge, but the options I can have are, at least until I know for sure which ones are still available, are romance, historical, I would say popular author, 5-star prediction, but that's usually always the case for me. And I would say that's about it, because I'm pretty sure I've already used free space. So that's those. There we go. And now we're on Cheryl's from Cadwick Library's Jurassic Reading Challenge. And as you know, we already know what book I'm going to use. But the prompt is, for me, is natural disaster / extinction. And I'm using Jurassic Park because certainly, from what I can assume, even if there's no natural disasters, there is definitely a threat of extinction for humans and or dinosaurs. Definitely the humans. So I'm going for that. Because I would say it kind of fits. But let me know if you've read it and you think it doesn't. Because to be fair, I still haven't fulfilled mistaken identity, but I don't think that would count for this. It might do. I honestly don't know. But either way, I'm going to use this book, so there. Again. Okay, the next one is Anne's Reading the Classics Readathon challenge. I don't know words. And obviously there's the added, you can, American authors, because obviously it's to celebrate 250 years of America, I think. I don't think it's a separation of America and Britain, I don't think. I could be wrong though. I'm British, I don't know. But anyway, you can have the added prompt of trying to read books by, classic books by classic American authors. But May is actually random choice, so it's essentially free space, I think. And I haven't picked one. No. I mean, you could call Jurassic Park a classic, and Michael Crichton. I don't actually know if he's American. Maybe he is. No, those are quotes. That's not going to help me. Introduction. Nope, that's not what. That's about the book. Acknowledgement. Not really about the author. And that's the epilogue. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Wait. Ignore me. There's this thing called publish. There we go. Right, well. Okay, yeah, definitely not a classic. But anyway, he's an American author. So we'll be using that. I haven't picked a book because I don't know what I'm going to pick. I do technically still, I mean, it's not an American author, but I do still have my memoir / biography. I did find one in the end. It wasn't 12 Years a Slave, it's something else. And I'll show that in my wrap up. So I could just continue using that, even though it's random choice. But I mean, the whole point of a yearly challenge is that you don't need to double up. So we'll see. I will figure something out. I might use an audiobook. That'll be a nice quick way of doing it. But we'll figure it out. If when I'm editing this, I know what book I'm going to read, I will either write it down or I'll insert a clip of future me. Either way, that's what will end up happening. I will find out, and so will you, one of these days, for both of us. The next one is Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails and her read with Winnie the Pooh challenge. And I am technically going to use a specific prompt. There might be other prompts, because I do have, I think, 3 left. that I haven't done yet. There's one that I'm definitely going to try and get to, and then the other two I might end up getting to. I don't know. But the one I am going for is the Grumpy Sunshine prompt. And as I alluded to earlier, I'm going to use Head in the Clouds by Cameron Whittemire, because Lucy from Lucy Chronicles said this is Grumpy Sunshine. So I'm going to listen to her. She's read it, so I trust her judgment on that one. So yeah, that is that. The next one is Alma from Alma's Book Journey, and her Journey Through Time Historical Fiction Challenge. And for May, we have Latin America. And this is difficult because I don't actually know for certain if I have a historical fiction set in Latin America. The book I picked, Latin America, is definitely a tick. I don't actually know if it's historical or not. I am assuming from the blurb that it is historical, because a character receives a letter, which obviously, if it's set in the modern day, it would be, phone call, email, something like that. So I'm assuming it's historical. Hopefully it's not just like 1980s historical. But there we go. The book I picked is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is horror. So I'm not recommending this to most of you who are watching. I do read, as I'm sure you have probably noticed if you've watched more than just one video, or even just one video, I do read other like secular mainstream books as well as Christian. Most of them are secular because most of my books are, mainly because I didn't know about Christian fiction. I say it every time. You're probably bored of it. But anyway, I know this is horror. I think it's adult, if not young adult. But I don't think it is. I think it is just proper adult. And because it's horror, I already know what type of horror, and I think it's body horror. So I want to kind of put a disclaimer out here. I'm not recommending this. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. I may end up DNFing it. So just be aware. But I'm going to try it because I wanted to. That's why I bought it. Also, I do really like the cover as well. It's very nice. So yes, we will have to see about this one. I'm hoping to finish it. And if I don't like it, it means I know I can get rid of it. And even if I like it, I might still get rid of it. I don't know. Because I do need to do an unhaul at some point. But yeah, this is my hopefully historical Latin America. So, because I'm pretty sure Mexico is in South America. Yes, it is. Sorry, my geography's not great, guys. I do know it's in South America. I do actually know that. But sometimes, when you're second guessing yourself and you're like, is it? That was me just then. But it's okay. I do know for certain. Oh dear. Anyway, right, let's move on before I just embarrass myself further. Which, to be fair, I'm very good at anyway. I don't mind. Okay, the next one is Oshina Reads Co. And Oshina's Read Christian Romance Challenge. And as you all know, because I only have one Christian fiction on my TBR, I've got Head in the Clouds. So I will probably use this for, I'm not sure, there's no historical prompt. There is biblical, but obviously this isn't biblical. So, I can't remember what I've already used. So I'm going to say the possible options, because I also, one of them is dual POV. I don't know if this is, it might be. There should be a way that I can check without actually, yes it is, right, that's fine. So yeah, this is dual POV. Because I've wanted to read this for a while, because I've heard some good things from it as well as Lucy buying it me, because she loves it so much. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, I would anyway. I don't mind trying new things, even if I don't know whether I'd like them, but I do like Karen Whittemire, what I've read of her books. So we've got, yeah, dual POV, wanted to read, recommended, because Lucy recommended it, so I could use it for that. Possibly for the over 350 pages. I don't know how many pages this has. Is that still Head in the Clouds, or is that? Yes, it is. Oh, look at that. 366 pages. So yeah, this also counts as over 350 pages. So I have a few options. We'll see which one I pick, like with most of my Christian fiction ones. We also had the Fancy Rivers read-along that Oceana's doing, and for May it's An Echo in the Darkness, which is book 2 in the Mark of the Lion trilogy. I'm not going to read that one though, for definite, because that is the most recent book in the series that I've read. I've not read book 3 yet, so I'm hoping to do that next month, because that will be June's read for the read-along. If I had, not really spoiler, but spoiler for the wrap-up, I have not got to A Voice in the Wind by Fancy Rivers, which is book 1, which is a reread. So I definitely could have counted it, but because I haven't yet, and her books are massive, if I had already read that book, I would be reading An Echo in the Darkness, just because it just makes sense to continue that and then read book 3. But because I've not done that, I don't want to read book 2. Not because I'm spoiled, because like I said, I've read book 2. But in my brain goes, no, you've not read book 1, so why would you reread book 2? So there we go. Obviously, no, it won't change. I was going to say, if I get to A Voice in the Wind anyway, I could still read An Echo in the Darkness, but I'm not going to be doing that, at least not in terms of the challenge. I could anyway, in general, but no. So the next one is Kat from Kat Stories and her Biblical Reading and Retelling Challenge. And for May, the prompt is old, and I've decided to go for old as in Old Testament. I usually try and just read a book from the Bible instead of a retelling or non-fiction, etc. Those are options, and I'm not saying I won't read a biblical fiction or that no one else should. Obviously, I'm not saying any of that. But I want to try and read more in the Bible, like just reading it instead of just studying it. So that's why I'm trying to focus on that. I haven't picked an Old Testament book yet. When I'm editing this, if I have decided, I will let you know. Otherwise, you will just have to find out in my May wrap up. Crazy. So yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Okay, so that is my yearly challenges. Now, there probably are readathons happening for May, but I haven't looked any up. However, there is one that is a couple of months readathon, and that is the readathon that's hosted by Sarah from Sarah Collar, and that's her spring into the classics readathon. Now, another spoiler, I don't think I've read any classics or fable/fairy tale. So, my question about doubling up that I then realised that I didn't need to ask, now seems like it should count, because now I have to do it all in 1 month instead of 2. Now, obviously, I might squeeze something in, but to be fair, there still would be 3 other prompts that I would need to do. And unless I somehow get through them all, and when I say 3 prompts, I mean reading prompts. There is a 4th one, but that's to watch a classic adaptation. So yeah, so that's quite funny. I haven't picked any books to fill these out. I might just stick to the ones I've mentioned for April. One of them is The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. That could be a classic novel/novella, more novella, because I can't remember how much it is, but it's less than 200 pages. And obviously it's a children's classic. But what I might end up doing is I might listen to an audiobook of a classic. I have some that I have on my Audible that I got for free. Not like user credit free, but like actual free. Well, free, I mean, you pay for an Audible subscription, so it's not technically not free, but you know what I'm getting at. So I did pick a few that I really liked from there, so I could listen to one of those. I can't remember all of the options, but a couple of them were The Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. I actually also had that physically, but I wouldn't be able to get to it if I was doing it physically. And also Anne of Green Gables, the first one. I had that on audio, so I could listen to that. So I have a few options. So again, if I decide one before editing, then I'll edit in what I'm going to use, or at least an option. Otherwise, again, you'll just have to find out in my May wrap up. Sorry guys. So yeah, like I said, I didn't do much reading fiction in April. It was mostly just audiobooks, and obviously I'll talk more about that in my wrap up. So yeah, that's me done, which is good. I do have a caveat. It's a small TBR. I may end up adding more books depending on how I get on with my reading in May, because there are definitely prompts from my challenges that I have not got to, like the weapons on the cover from Read Your Bookshelf challenge, also April's one as well. Did not get to that one yet. I can't remember. Okay, yeah, no, it doesn't count. So yeah, I still have Weapon on the cover for March and a title including a conjunction for April to do. So I may end up finding books that I can use for those. But I'm not going to focus on that. It's more if I get to a book that fits those prompts, then I'll use that book for wherever the prompt is. Obviously, if it's something I can double up in, I'm going to have to pick one, because obviously it's a yearly challenge, so really you shouldn't be having to double up. So obviously if it had a weapon and there was a conjunction, then I'd have to pick the book to fit one of those prompts. But yes, I'm not actually picking books to do that. It's if I get to one, then I'll use it. So that's my caveat. There may be more books in my wrap up. There may not be. I don't know. So yes, that is everything that I need to talk about. For any of you interested, I'm using my dad's Bible to read the books of the Bible, and I'll show you. It's a King James study Bible. I'm not actually looking at the study notes, I am just reading it. But yeah, it's the original King James, just so you know. I'm not translation specific, if you know what I mean. I'm not like only King James, for example, or anything like that. I've read more of the new King James, but that's just because it's the first book. First translation that I read, officially anyway. So yes, thank you so much for watching. What are you reading in May? Let me know. Are you just as terrified as me? Because I am. And yes, yeah, I can't think of anything else. So yeah, let me know what you're reading. Are there any other readathons that you're taking part in? I've heard of one, the fantasy one, Reddit fantasy. I don't know who created it, but someone I watched called Emily from Emily's Excellent Epics, I think is her name. Well, her channel name, I can't remember now. It's something like that. I just watched her video today about her TBR for that particular Reddit fantasy readathon. That's the only one I know of, but I am slightly behind on my YouTube, BookTube videos, so there might be others, I don't know. But let me know if there's any readathons you're taking part in and what you're hoping to read, and I will see you all next week. God bless. Goodbye.